Leo, a shocking financial moment is already in motion for you, and you didn't stumble upon this message by accident. Something powerful is shifting behind the scenes of your life, and the universe has chosen now, this exact moment, to bring it into your awareness. Whether you're seeking clarity, confirmation, or just a whisper from the divine that everything will turn in your favor in the right place. This is not a prediction. It's an activation. There is a current of energy moving quickly in your direction. A current of fast money, unexpected gifts, and long overdue rewards. And here's the truth, it's coming not because you were lucky, but because you've been consistent. You've been sowing seeds in silence, doing the right thing when no one was watching, showing up when it felt like the world had gone quiet on your dreams. Now, the silence is about to break loudly, and when it does, it won't just be a trickle. It will be a financial breakthrough that shifts the ground beneath you. You didn't need to chase abundance. You became it. And now abundance is chasing you. If you're feeling a pull in your spirit, a subtle yes deep in your chest, trust it. There's a reason this message found you. There's a reason this specific video, on this specific day, showed up on your screen. You've done something, maybe something small, maybe something no one else noticed but the universe noticed. You made a choice aligned with integrity, with faith, with love. And that choice has unlocked something in the divine. A window is open. And you're standing in the center of it. Visualize this. The lion doesn't run after its territory, it stands tall, and the territory comes to it. You're not here to hustle for crumbs anymore. You're here to claim the feast. The opportunities, the surprises, the financial doors that are about to swing open, these are not random. They are direct reflections of the vibration you've cultivated. If you've ever felt unseen, underpaid, or overworked, hear me now. That season is closing. And a new chapter, one written in gold and recognition, is beginning. You are no longer waiting for the right moment. You are the moment. And if you're wondering whether it's real, if this shift is truly for you, let me be the one to confirm it. It is. You've done the inner work. You've been preparing for this. And you're ready not just to receive but to expand, lead, and thrive in ways your past self only dreamed of. Before we continue, I want to take a sacred pause to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every view, every comment, every subscription to this eternal mindfulness space, each one sends ripples through the energy field we're building together. It is your engagement that fuels this mission. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing this light to reach you today. And Leo, believe me when I say what the universe is revealing in this message today is nothing short of spectacular. So stay with me until the very end. You will not want to miss a single moment of what's coming next. If you feel the truth of this message stirring something inside you, drop a comment below that says, "I'm ready to receive my well-deserved reward." Let that be your sacred confirmation to the universe and your first courageous step into the season of miracles that's already waiting for you. Let's begin. Have you ever noticed how, just after a long, dry season, the rain doesn't come slowly, it pours? It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't knock gently on the door. It arrives all at once, drenching the earth in a downpour so swift, so unapologetic, that you can almost feel the ground sigh in relief. Leo, this is the metaphor for what's happening in your energetic field right now. After a stretch of giving, building, showing up, often without acknowledgement or compensation, a sudden surge is approaching. Not just in emotion, not just in hope, but in tangible, material, financial form. The momentum is building, and the gates are preparing to open. This is not a time of slow and steady progress. It is a time of rapid acceleration. For many of you, this may feel like divine timing finally catching up with all the inner work you've done. Promotions, bonuses, unexpected financial opportunities, someone with influence finally noticing your efforts. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. This surge of wealth, recognition, and return on effort is the energetic equivalent of that sudden rainstorm after drought. And like the dry earth, your spirit, your wallet, and your worthiness are ready to absorb it all. There are symbols in the tarot that mirror this movement. The wheel of fortune doesn't turn quietly, it shifts drastically, often when we least expect it, placing us at the center of a moment that seems to come out of nowhere. The sun reminds us that the light always returns after the shadow. And the Knight of Pentacles, diligent and unwavering, is the one who kept working the field even when the harvest hadn't come yet. You are all three. You are the risk-taker, the nurturer, and the one reaping the reward. What's arriving now is not a gift for nothing, it's a reward for everything. You may have started noticing subtle signals already. Perhaps you've been seeing repeating numbers 888, a universal code for wealth, power, and alignment. Or maybe 515, a reminder that change is happening and being divinely supported. These aren't just angel numbers to pass off as coincidences. These are invitations. They are energetic pings from the universe saying, keep going, you're almost there. But there's also an inner work at play here. No external abundance can truly stick if internally you still believe you're not worthy of it. This is why it's crucial now to release lingering self-doubt. You've earned this shift. You've done the work in private. And now the reward is coming in public. Self-worth is the foundation upon which wealth can be built. If you don't believe you deserve it, you'll subconsciously sabotage it. So I invite you lovingly, firmly, and as someone who sees your potential to begin anchoring into a new belief system. One where you no longer question whether good things are meant for you, but instead, expect them. Think of this moment as a sacred pause in your personal gospel. In faith traditions, there's the idea of a harvest season, where those who remain steadfast during hardship are rewarded beyond measure. Not because they begged for it. Not because they chased it. But because they remained faithful in their planting. You, Leo, are in your harvest. The seeds of patience, discipline, heart, and faith you planted are coming alive. So, before we move forward, ask yourself, has life been showing you signs lately? A refund you weren't expecting? A job opportunity that suddenly reappeared? A feeling in your gut that something good is just around the corner? Don't ignore it. Name it. Acknowledge it. And if you feel aligned, share it below. When we speak our confirmations out loud, we amplify them. When we celebrate even small wins together, we raise the vibration of everyone in this space. Your breakthrough is not a whisper. It's a roar. And it's headed straight for you. What we explored earlier about the financial breakthrough coming your way was not just a surface message, it was a sacred invitation. And now, Leo, we move into the deeper terrain of why this shift is happening. You are no longer in a place where you need to chase abundance. because abundance itself has already tuned into the frequency of who you are becoming. That's the energy that's beginning to move through your field. That's the shift. You're not pursuing money. Money is pursuing you not because of external effort, but because of internal alignment. Everything in the universe is frequency. This is not metaphor, it's physics. Currency, quite literally, is a current. It flows. And it flows toward those who are resonating at its level, not with desperation, but with congruence. When you try to manifest from fear, scarcity, or emotional chaos, what you send out into the quantum field is distortion. That distortion delays what you're asking for, not because the universe is punishing you, but because it's protecting you from receiving something you're not vibrationally ready to sustain. True abundance does not land in the hands of chaos. It lands in the hearts of those who are ready to nurture and honor it. This is where the work becomes more subtle, more sacred. Learning to sit with your emotions instead of spending through them. Learning to budget, not as punishment, but as an act of self-respect. Learning to invest in things that expand your being rather than numb your pain. All of this is energetic mastery. All of this is what you're stepping into. The Queen of Pentacles in the Tarot reminds us of the power of grounded abundance. She doesn't accumulate for show. She nurtures what she's built. She's not reactive, she's intentional. Temperance reminds us to regulate not just our spending, but our emotions, our expectations, our timelines. Together, these archetypes point to a truth you may already feel within. You are capable of managing more than you ever thought, not through hustle, but through harmony. This is why I often encourage practices like money journaling. Not just budgeting, but writing down how money makes you feel. When you spend, what emotion is behind it? When you receive, what beliefs rise to the surface? Are you allowing wealth to stay with you, or are you subconsciously pushing it away through guilt, fear, or disbelief in your worth? You can't shift what you won't confront. But once you see the emotional patterns that surround your finances, you begin to unlock a new kind of sovereignty. Symbolic actions also help. A savings jar isn't just a place to hold coins, it's a physical altar to your self-trust. Setting an intention every time you place money inside turns it into a ritual of devotion. Rewriting your beliefs about wealth is not just mental, it's magnetic. When you move from "I'll never have enough" to "I always have what I need," your frequency changes. Your behavior changes. And over time, your outer reality reflects that inner upgrade. We often hear people talk about sowing seeds and faith, about planting actions, intentions, and prayers even when they can't yet see the result. And for someone like you, Leo, whose fire burns bright with purpose and visibility, this lesson can feel humbling. But it is in that humility that your true magnetism is born. Because when you no longer strive to prove your worth, the universe begins to reflect it back to you in miraculous ways. So, as you sit with this part of your journey, ask yourself, are you still chasing, or are you now choosing to allow? Are you viewing money as a problem to solve or as a relationship to heal? And most importantly, are you becoming the kind of vessel that wealth would feel safe to rest in? If any part of this resonates with you, I invite you to ground it now. Take a moment to comment and affirm, "I am the most valuable asset I have." Let that statement be your anchor. Let it be your frequency. And let it guide you into a future where you no longer fear money leaving, because now, it wants to stay. In the previous moment, we touched on the frequency shift happening in your life, the quiet but undeniable realization that abundance is no longer a distant concept but a living energy that's already circling around you. Now, Leo, we take that understanding even deeper. Because this phase in your journey is not just about attracting wealth, it's about becoming someone who can hold it with peace, purpose, and sustainability. That requires a new kind of inner clarity, one that doesn't come from ambition alone, but from emotional integration. The universe is generous, but it's not random. It responds to order, harmony, alignment. When your inner world is chaotic, when you're moving from scarcity, urgency, or unresolved emotional pain, it doesn't matter how many affirmations you speak. Manifestation doesn't stick when the heart is tangled in fear. And so, the real question becomes, not, what do I want to receive, but, who am I becoming as I prepare to receive it? You see, most people associate financial growth with external work, applying, pitching, chasing, proving. But those who understand energetic law in you, Leo, are being called into that awareness now. Know that real prosperity is deeply emotional. It's spiritual in its own rhythm. It's about inner repair. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe holding abundance, it will find a way to release it. Not because you're cursed, but because you haven't yet shown your subconscious that it's safe to rest, to expand, to have. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a house, and wealth is a guest. If the house is noisy, cluttered, full of tension and unspoken fear, the guest may visit but won't stay. But if that house is clean, calm, welcoming, and rooted in love, it becomes home. This is your work now. You're not just raising your frequency to get more. You're grounding your energy so that the blessings you've prayed for finally have somewhere steady to land. Astrologically, the Leo archetype thrives when the heart is open, when expression is authentic, and when confidence is rooted in self-respect, not external validation. And this season is stretching you into that exact lesson. It's inviting you to step beyond the old survival-based strategies you may have used to feel secure, whether that's overworking, people-pleasing, or comparing, and instead step into a form of wealth that is born from peace, not pressure. From the perspective of emotional healing, this is a time to rewrite old scripts about your worth. What did you grow up believing about money? About success? About your own value? Whose voice lives in the back of your mind when you consider doing something bold or receiving something beautiful? Often, we carry inherited ideas of limitation that don't even belong to us. And when you finally sit with them, name them, and gently challenge them, you open space for something new to be written. This is why even small practices matter. Journaling, breath work, tracking your spending, saying no when a yes would have compromised your boundaries. These are not just habits. They are declarations. Each one sends a signal into the quantum that you are no longer seeking approval. You are building a container that matches the life you've envisioned. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are becoming. And the version of you that abundance is attracted to has always lived inside you, perhaps beneath layers of fear, fatigue, or forgetting, but never absent. So if this part of the journey feels uncomfortable, that's okay. It means you're no longer running on autopilot. It means you're healing. It means you're ready to create from intention rather than reaction. Take a breath here. Let your body receive that truth. You are enough. You've always been enough. And now, the world is starting to reflect it back. After journeying through the awareness that abundance is no longer a matter of pursuit but of alignment, we now arrive at a pivotal point in your story, Leo, a moment that holds more weight than you may yet realize. The arrival of September isn't simply the changing of a calendar page, it is, for you, the turning of a cosmic wheel. It is the axis upon which the next 6 months of your financial destiny will begin to spin. And the energy that surrounds this shift is both potent and precise. Astrologically, September is charged with fire-aligned momentum. With Venus softening what we value, Jupiter expanding our belief systems, and the Sun, your ruling luminary, shining through new layers of self-definition, this is a sacred month for conscious decision-making. But this isn't about rushing. It's about recalibrating. It's about pausing to ask yourself, are the structures of my current financial life, my job, my spending habits, my goals still aligned with the version of me I'm becoming? Or am I holding on to things that once made sense but now feel heavy, restrictive, or false? This is your opportunity to initiate a quiet revolution within yourself. Not the kind of flashy change that everyone sees, but the inner kind that shifts the way you relate to time, effort, and self-worth. September is asking you to evaluate your career not just in terms of salary or prestige, but in terms of soul resonance. Is the work you're doing lighting you up or slowly dimming your light? If your spirit has been whispering that it's time to pivot, change directions, or finally invest in the dream you keep deferring, this is your green light. The universe is not asking you to leap blindly. It's asking you to choose deliberately. The chariot in the tarot reminds us that forward movement doesn't always require speed, but it always requires focus. You can't move toward 2 destinations at once. You have to choose. And Judgment, its counterpart in this season, is a card of reckoning. It speaks not only to outer decisions, but to inner awakenings, kind that rise from your gut and refuse to be silenced any longer. If you've been living out someone else's expectations or navigating life on autopilot, this card says, it's time to return to your own voice. One of the most grounding practices during this time is something I call a soul-aligned financial map. It's more than a budget. It's a blueprint. A living, breathing vision that not only includes the numbers you hope to earn but the feelings you want to sustain. How do you want your money to feel? Secure? Expansive? Peaceful? What beliefs about money still echo from your upbringing that no longer serve the person you are becoming? What habits, small or large, are draining your energy and diluting your focus? In many self-help circles, we talk about clarity being power. But clarity doesn't appear by accident. It's cultivated. And this month, you are being offered the chance to step into radical clarity. Not the kind that comes from a spreadsheet or a promotion alone, but the kind that comes from sitting still, breathing deeply, and asking yourself what you truly want to build with the precious time and energy you've been given. So if you're sensing that something must shift, whether in your career, your goals, or even the way you talk to yourself about money, honor that. That sense of knowing is not fear. It's forward movement in disguise. And if this message is reaching into something within you, take a moment now to reflect and comment below. What is one decision, one truth, one new direction you feel drawn to explore this September? When you speak it aloud, you create space for the universe to meet you in it. And Leo, you are not alone in this pivot. You are being guided, supported, and cheered on by forces seen and unseen. The wheel is turning and you are the one choosing where it lands. As we move deeper into the unfolding of your story, Leo, the energy becomes more subtle, more nuanced, and deeply personal. You've come so far through self-realization, through shifts in financial frequency, through moments of clarity that now shape the way you move forward with purpose. But there's a truth that often arises on the other side of expansion, and it deserves to be spoken gently, yet clearly. Sometimes, your light, your success, your visibility, your unapologetic joy can be uncomfortable for others. Not because you've done anything wrong, but simply because your growth can reflect back to others what they haven't yet allowed themselves to become. When you step into your own radiance, when you start receiving what you've long deserved, you may notice shifts in the way people around you respond. Some may celebrate you wholeheartedly. Others may fall silent. A few might subtly withdraw or even project discomfort masked as criticism. This is not new. History, myth, and energy all teach us that when someone breaks free from the expected and dares to rise, it disrupts the landscape. Not everyone is ready for the version of you who refuses to dim. In the tarot, this is reflected in the Empress, the one who creates, nurtures, and magnetizes abundance effortlessly. She doesn't chase. She becomes. Her presence alone is an invitation to life itself to flourish around her. But paired with the Five of Wands, we're reminded that such presence can stir tension. The conflict isn't always external. Often, it comes from the inner turmoil others feel when confronted with the bigness of your becoming. This is why this part of your journey requires discernment. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You don't need to edit your joy to make it more palatable. What you do need is space, sacred space for those who are willing to hold your light with integrity, not envy. You are not here to shrink. You are here to shine with humility, yes, but never with apology. From a self-help and emotional healing perspective, this is where boundaries become acts of self-love. When you start making more money, feeling more confident, building a life that reflects your authenticity, it's natural to want to bring others with you. But not everyone will understand the path you've taken, especially if they haven't walked through their own fire yet. The key is to trust that your light is not too much. It is simply a mirror, and how others react to that mirror is not your responsibility. This is also a time to practice what I call wise humility, the kind that allows you to stay grounded in your truth without needing validation. It's the quiet confidence of someone who knows they've earned their place, and doesn't need to prove it. Wise humility means honoring the path that brought you here, without seeking approval for the steps you took. It means celebrating yourself fully, even when others can't. In practical terms, this might look like saying no to certain conversations that drain you, stepping back from environments where your success is resented, or simply allowing yourself to feel proud without guilt. And when that twinge of discomfort arises, when you're tempted to soften your joy to protect someone else's fragility, pause and remember, your light is not a weapon. It's a blessing. If you've ever found yourself hiding your wins, downplaying your progress, or staying quiet when you really wanted to celebrate, this is your moment to reclaim that power. Because when you give yourself full permission to be seen, you give others the courage to do the same. So I ask you now, have you ever had to dim your light just to make others more comfortable? And if so, are you ready to stop doing that? If your answer is yes, let that intention be spoken into the space we share. Comment below, I will no longer shrink my light, and allow that to be your first act of radiant truth in this new season. Leo, as this message comes to a close, I want you to remember something sacred, something beyond predictions, signs, and symbols. You are not merely receiving abundance. You are healing an ancestral thread. You are breaking patterns of limitation that were never yours to carry. You are not just catching blessings that fall into your lap, you are becoming the one who opens the vault that your ancestors only dreamed of unlocking. When you say yes to your value, your power, and your path, you're not just changing your life. You're shifting timelines for those who came before you and those who will come after. It's easy to forget, especially when the world moves fast and expectations weigh heavy, that you are allowed to start again. You are allowed to choose a new direction even if the old one defined you for years. You are allowed to become someone your past wouldn't recognize and still love the version of you that tried their best to survive. This is the energy of true sovereignty. And it begins with one choice, one action, one belief. You don't have to be ready for everything. You just have to be willing to take the next right step. So ask yourself, Leo, what if the most powerful thing you could do this week was to believe, just a little more, that you are worthy of good things without struggle? What would shift if you trusted that ease didn't mean laziness but alignment? What would open if you gave yourself permission to stop proving, and start receiving? And what kind of story would your life tell if you stopped apologizing for your shine? If this message stirred something in you, don't let it dissolve into the background noise of a busy day. Let it land. Let it be the turning point. Take a moment now to anchor this shift by commenting below. Share the 3 financial numbers you're ready to call in this week, whether it's 515, 888, 2026, or your own sacred combination. When you write it, you claim it. And when you claim it, the universe begins to move with you. If you felt connected to what was shared today, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness, where these sacred transmissions meet you exactly where you are. Your presence here is not taken lightly. Every view, every like, every comment you leave is a ripple in the energetic web we are weaving together. And I thank you from the deepest part of my heart for walking this path with me. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are in the middle of your own miracle. Trust it. Let it expand. Let it lead you into the most abundant, ease-filled, soul-aligned harvest of your life. I believe in your light. I see your potential. And more importantly, I know that the best is not behind you, it's just beginning.